So, our master says, he gives us 5 sutras that after all, who are seekers? So, the 5 ways. The first level, he says, there are highest level of seekers since birth, and their intensity of aspiration is so high that they succeed in their early childhood. My master ran away from the house at the age of 11. Look at Swami Vivekananda, who came to US in 1892 or 93, and he wrote more than 200 books and died at the age of hardly 37. Shankara, at the age of 37, more than 200 books, traveled throughout India, taught every day. So you think of that, at the age of 20 or 25, you have reached that state of enlightenment. As compared to the Buddha, more or less he reached to that enlightenment at the age of 50. So the first sutra throws a light that why they succeed. Why shouldn't I succeed and why they succeed? That is a normal question, so that helps us to throw a light on that what kind of a seeker we are. So the Patanjali says, Bhavat pratyayo videha prakrati layanam. Have you seen people sometime that they take all the events calmly, whether it's a very horrible event in their life or very pleasurable event, they are not elated even if they earn too much or they lose. So that kind of a mindset is known as bhavat pratyayo. Bhavat pratyayo. There are 2 words, bhavat pratyayo and videha prakriti layanam. But before we go there, I want to take one sutra, one verse from Gita. So Gita first thing to understand very clearly that Krishna, the originator of this yoga and meditation, he says, Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpam pyasya dharmasya trayate mehato bhayat. On this path of self-discovery or meditation, no effort is lost. Make it sure. Have a tremendous faith in this world. No obstacle prevails. Even a little of this practice delivers, saves us from great fears. So what is very important? That you did the practice today. Good. You did not do the practice today. Remind yourself, I did not do the practice. Inspire yourself in the mind. Motivate yourself and continue the journey. So I'm giving a break in between. So now going back. That before we understand that why people succeeds in this journey at an early age and why other people do not succeed in their journey. But one point has to be taken, that no effort is lost in this journey. No effort. That is what Krishna says in the Gita. But before we go, that how these masters or people succeeds at their early age, we should know it so that we should find out whether we can succeed early or not. Normally we say, no, I have done the practice. So otherwise what we do, we blame teachers. No, this practice is good, that practice is not good. Question is, are you a good seeker or not? That matters the most. Otherwise every practice is good. Every practice comes from the same tradition. Whether you have $10 or $5 or $1,000, every buck is good. That needs to be understood. So now again, a little diversion. Gita says that what qualities we should have that makes a person succeed very early, very fast, in shorter period of time. So he uses the word, there are almost 25 qualities, but I'm referring couple of them. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, chanti arjavam, acharya upasanam, sauchanam, sthairyam, atma vinigraha. Humility in the mind. Sincerity in the mind. Harmlessness. When people meet you, they find that this guy seems to be totally harmless. But you check yourself that you don't have any thought in a speech, an idea of harming others. And forgiveness. All these are the qualities of the mind. You see, the traits of the mind needs to be at the peak level to succeed in mindfulness. Humility, sincerity, forgiveness, integrity to yourself. Now there is another word, service of the master. What it means? At the highest level, it means that there is a constant learning, there is a contemplation, and there is a reflection on the principles. That is the greatest service one can do to the master. At the highest level. Then purity of the mind. Then determination. And the last trait is the self-control. Means senses are not engaging themselves in pleasure, and then you forget yourself in pleasure seeking and you lose your self-awareness. Then you say that, no, I didn't do the practice this week. So where we started, we are understanding who is the seeker that learns faster, succeeds in a short period of time. So we have understood the traits of the mind. But one thing more, even if you are frustrated on one day in doing meditation, do you have that aspiration that I will continue? Why? Because no effort in this journey is ever lost. Do I have that faith? Now come to the highest level of seeker. The highest level of seeker are of two types. First. Second, highest level of the seekers are by birth. Second point. Now, who are these two types? One is bhavat bhava pratyayo. Their mind can leave all the thoughts easily without any effort. Their mind remains like a clear screen mirror since their birth. That is why I gave an example of my master ran away at the age of 11. Oh, we do not understand all these stuff, but he ran away at the age of 11. Same thing with Swami Vivekananda. There are many masters, Shankaracharya. So what happens to their mind? That their mind can dissolve all the thoughts, whether good or bad, pain or pleasure, likes or dislikes, for a sufficient period of time so that they can reflect on the state of the mind easily. They can withdraw their mind easily. They succeed very fast. Now look in case of the Buddha. So when his father king observed and understood from an astrologer who said that this child will become either the greatest master or the greatest warrior. So he has only one son. So he put his son in all kinds of pleasure for almost 6 to 7 years. All kinds of pleasure, so that at least he should forget becoming a master. But his mind was internally already not interested in all these pleasures, even though he was totally engaged in those pleasures. Now compare yourself. You have entered into this journey after a long time. Not like Buddha, but after all, commitment is there, consistency is there. You see that? So, he had that intensity, so it took him only a couple of years. And one day, he said, "Goodbye, honey. Goodbye, my son. I'm going to meditate now alone in solitude for 6 years." And he got enlightenment at the age of 49. So means that there is a sense of remembering in his mind that continued even when his father put him into all kinds of pleasure. Not interested. He wanted to know. He wanted to reach to that state of permanent happiness. Second, the master Patanjali says, the second type of the people, since birth, what they are? Videha. They are videha. Videha means? What is the meaning of videha? Meaning of the videha means that you transcend your body since your birth. Means as if you are living beyond the body. Means what? Again go back. Means what? That your mind since birth is fully aware, live in that state that I am not the body, body is not me, I am using the body as an instrument like I am using a car, like I am using a smartphone. Since birth. That is what happened. Lara to Swami Vivekananda, perhaps to my master, and also to the Buddha, and those who succeed faster. So now go a little deeper. Why they live beyond body? That is why I referred the sutra of the verse from the Gita, amanitvam, humility, sincerity, harmlessness, forgiveness, integrity, service to the master. I have already clarified. Steadfastness and self-control. When we have all these traits in the mind, you live as if you are living beyond body. Now, can I explain this verse in a different way? So how can you say a total absence of worldly pride and arrogance? Now, this is another way to explain. Harmlessness. A clear intellect. This beard guy was saying that, those who live beyond body, I have understood, I got this information, but intellect is not clear. No. There must be a clarity and conviction about the knowledge that you are receiving. I'm translating the same traits in a different way. So a clear and a candid intellect with reference to the knowledge that the master is giving. Not this one, Patanjali is giving. That is what I guide and teach. A tolerant and a kind heart. We will talk later about this heart. Mind starts from here up to here. So normally when we say the heart, which means also the mind, purity of the mind and the body, and tranquil firmness. Tranquil firmness. Sincerity is there. So now see that when we study Gita, so Master does not say by birth, Master says that please cultivate the attributes, traits and the skills of the body, mind and the intellect to succeed faster and in a shorter period of time. At the same time, remember, I tell you, many people have attended my programs, they have done it, and what happened? I say after 5 years, they have been doing it, and then they went to another teacher, and then they returned back to me. They said, I succeeded. Very good. Why they succeeded? Because they have been doing the practices for the last 5 years, but they give the recognition to the another teacher. That's really good. We are all part of the same tradition. We all are teaching the same thing. So where that verse comes, the Master says, Neha bhikramana shusti pratyavayo na vidyate. A single effort, you are listening to the teacher, you did the practice, that very effort will never be lost. It is accumulated as an impression in your mind. Provided the mind has the right aptitude and attribute and the trait. So in the first sutra, what we learn, there are 5 sutras, that if now we can realize, am I that kind of a seeker? Am I the highest level of a seeker or not? If I am not, so in the next sutra, we will take, there are 4 qualifications required to succeed as fast as these great masters achieved that state of enlightenment. Sometime in a single session, I start with the Gita and then I realize this guy is not ready. Then I leave that, drop that. I never say anything to them. Then I say, okay, let us pick up the small things. And even if they not succeed, I see their mind is going. That is why Master says a total absence of pride and arrogance. That sense of eagerness should not, if it is there, then I pick up, okay, let me pick up another teaching and let me customize and personalize the practice. Why? Because every person has that aspiration burning deeper within. But in the front, the mind is guided and dictated by the preferences, duality, likes and dislikes. That is why they do not succeed. Are you getting it? That is making a sense. Patanjali always makes a sense. Because he is the greatest master. I may not make a sense, but bhavat pratyeo, bhava pratyeo videha prakrati layanam. Bhava pratyeo, mind is always. It took me many years to feel and to reach to that state. So by birth, not possible with me. Neither I felt that, I'm beyond the body in the beginning. But by practice. So that comes to the second level of the seeker that we will take up in the next session. There are 4 qualities compulsory, mandatory to succeed into that. Even if we do not feel like that, then there are 3 more sutras. What happens? So in these 5 sutras, he explains there are 5 levels of the seekers. You can choose, you can find out which level of a seeker you are, and accordingly you can continue the journey. So let us start our practice of meditation. So let us start our journey of meditation. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed and you are aware of the body. You are aware of the body from the top of the head to the toes. I will try my best to translate today's verse, today's sutra into practice. I'll throw some light on that. So the moment I say that you are aware of the body, my friends, and the body becomes naturally steady, there is no obstruction and challenges posed by the mind to the body. The body remains in the state of steadiness from the beginning to an end. You see? And then I am, look inside, mind is facing to the space, and from the space you find, any thought, let the thought come and go, who cares? Who cares means they are not influencing the state of your mind at this moment from the beginning to an end. Vivekananda used to practice under a tree near a river where we have too much of noise, disturbances in a garden, and everyone used to see why the hell this guy is sitting like this in total steadiness in spite of there are too many disturbances outside. So mind is not picking up any disturbances. You see, that is, then comes I am. The moment I say I am means you are. You feel as if you are not the body. Body is not me. But that should happen in every meditation journey. Then what happens? You are already the highest level of a seeker. And I tell you frankly, I need not to guide you anything when we have these 2 things with us. You have to simply sit with a determination, continuity, consistently, and everything will take place. You don't need any guru. But anyhow, mind goes to the breath and start breathing little deep, silent and slow. Now see that even if you are performing an action, it does not create any conflict and duality in the mind. You start breathing deep, silent and slow, neither too deep nor too short, so that the mind remains in the state of equanimity. And in that state of equanimity, as you inhale, move the mind inside the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips, in the space, singing in your mind, Om. When you exhale, mental singing, when you exhale, the mind moves from the fingertips to the shoulder inside the right arm in the space. So what we are understanding? Simple. The breath is the car, mind is the driver, and at the same time, that mind which is the driver is enjoying moving the mind in the space inside How? By saying Om. So your mind is absorbed in this four-pointed awareness. That will help you. Totally absorbed. Body remains steady. Now move the mind inside the left arm. So pick up. Why shouldn't I work that? Ask the mind, become the highest level of a seeker. Why shouldn't I? My master, you always used to say, you are not. You have realized, yes. So now find out the way to become the highest level of a seeker, and then see what happens. You see, that's why I reversed the verse of a Gita saying that a total absence of pride and arrogance. A lot of other stuff. And now, continue. We are doing the nyasa, the all-round purification before we enter. Now move the mind inside the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes. As you inhale, mind is moving. And that mind is recognizing the space within. Where is that space? Consider that space as a mirror. And you are singing Om mentally and moving the mind from the toes to the right side of the waist, and continue to observe. A slight movement in the body is nothing but the mind wants to go out. So, who is the highest level of a seeker? Whose mind does not want to go outside. It will go outside only through the body. So, when it goes through the body, it identifies with the body. So, the second principle, Prakriti Videha, beyond body. We live in our house, and we have most of the time, if our mind is happy, we feel as if we are moving the mind now inside the left leg. So most of the time we feel as if we are beyond the home. Highest level of a seeker. So my master used to say that focus on how you become the highest level of a seeker. Every time. That will help you succeed. Rather than complaining and blaming, why don't I succeed? I have not done it. I don't feel like doing it. No, these thoughts should never enter into our mind to reach to that state. Beautiful. You see, once the intellect inspires you, and that inspiration descends down into the heart, then the mind becomes pure. Then the mind says, whatever I'm doing at this time, I should be totally absorbed into that. And we get a sense of going beyond the body. Look at this sutra, the way the Patanjali explains. Everything, all the questions are answered. And now, moving the mind inside the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and from the tailbone, as you exhale, the mind rises, saying Om mentally. make it more clear, we cook veggie and we put seasonings and spices. So the veggie remains veggie, but it becomes tasty. It is easily digestible. Sometimes we add those ingredients. Similarly, when the mind gets some spice to get engaged, and what is that spice now? Is Om. With awareness that is Om is my real self, minus any form of cult and dogma. We say add bhava, add spice to the practice, which helps the mind to remain engaged. And I'll leave this. We will go for the mantra. Let the mantra be settled. First line, singing and listening. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You are mentally singing and listening to what you are singing. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Now, does your mind objects? The mind is not totally one-pointed. So we inspire ourselves to become the highest level of a seeker. See that? This is how it helps us when we have a right knowledge. And now, singing, listening, and meaning. What is the meaning? Swastir, may there be well-being for all, in all. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. 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 And our singing, listening, meaning, and the applied knowledge. What is applied knowledge? Take one example. So here are a lot of people attending the session, and I say, who is Lara? So I know who is Lara. Means meaning. But that meaning is not Lara. So what is that? Applied knowledge is Lara. So what is that well-being? Well-being comes out from our real nature. So the mind is totally absorbed, looking deep inside, and recognizes it is the state of the well-being coming from within. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. I'm chanting loudly so that your mind can sing with me mentally with knowledge and awareness. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So now, is the mind clear? Yes, let the mind move then if it is clear and the intellect is ready. Second line, singing and listening. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Second stage, singing, listening and meaning. What is the meaning? May there be peace in all. And from where the peace comes? From within. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. 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 Third stage, applied knowledge. Peace is my essential nature. Does the intellect have this knowledge with a clarity and a conviction? And when it has a knowledge with a clarity and conviction, then what happens? The mind does not like to go outside. It does not want to touch the body at all. That mind says, I'm done with you. Finished. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. 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 See that? Third line. Why the Master Patanjali did not explain these 5 different types of seekers in the very beginning? You should ask that question. It came to my mind. Third line. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Second stage, we already know the meaning. May there be completeness in all. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. 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 Pick up another way to become the highest level of a seeker. You should commit yourself to yourself, not to me. Forget about this guy. Your commitment to yourself will bring the result. So what is that? Intellect is clear. It is singing the mantra. It passes on that clarity to the mind. And the mind with the bhava, with that feeling, remains deeper within inside without any disturbances. The mind feels, no, I'm okay. I'm done with you, body. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. And then see. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. What is the clarity in Purnam, sense of completeness? When I'm complete in myself, will my mind ever go outside, blame, complain, distract? Big no. See that? That is what the Master Patanjali is saying. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. 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 Aha. Is there not a aha moment? And the fourth line, singing and listening. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Meaning, auspiciousness. When I am in the state of the well-being, peace and sense of completeness is there, so my life from moment to moment moves with auspiciousness. I am living in the highest level of seeking. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. 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 You are going on a vacation tomorrow. You have to take a flight. Even if you sleep late, you don't feel tired. I'm just giving you a glimpse of the auspicious moment. And what about meditation? I will discover my real self. That intellect and the mind don't allow you to drop into laziness or sleep. It doesn't allow you to wander, distracted. Think of that state. That happened to these highest level of the seekers, and that is why they succeed early. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. 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 Do you see that point? And now, mind looking deeper inside without any disturbance, laziness, craziness, sleepiness, wandering beyond body in the space. Shanti, first Shanti to that ignorance, to that space in the darkness where we don't find anything. Second Shanti is to the mind, the subtle body. Third Shanti is to the body and the world. Why third Shanti to the body and the world? We say, body remain as it is. World, you cannot now influence and disturb me at all. Continue. Mentally. Shanti. The mind picks up, okay, ignorance is there. Second, Shanti. Mind, you're clear? Very good. Shanti. Body. There's stillness, calmness is there in the body and the world. And compare it with the verses that I referred from the Gita. Total absence of pride and humility, calmness, purity in the mind and intellect. In that state you are reciting Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Continue. Just continue only this. That I am the true nature that is deeper inside than the first Shanti to the ignorance. Second Shanti to the mind, you are also my instrument. And third Shanti to the body, it is you are also my instrument. And the world. If Patanjali continue the journey, I'll answer that later. Can I say that we become oblivious of the world outside the body, the sense organs, the motor organs, the tendency of the mind moving out, and the intellect has a clarity and conviction. In that state, the mind is living within, moving within, with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The journey becomes shorter and the shorter, faster and the faster. See that. This is how the Master guides us. Amanitvam Badambhitvam Ahimsa Shanti Arjavam Acharya Upasanam Saucham Sthairyam Atma Vinigraha. And now move your mind in a similar fashion, as if non-verbally you are saying Om, but you are not saying it. The mind is living, moving within Om. Then it looks into the ignorance. Then it looks into the mind that is staying there. And it looks at the body as if not me, not mine. So the mind moving to the real self, then the causal body, then the subtle body which is the mind, then the physical. It is simply moving. Meditation is a movement. Remember this. Your mind will reject this idea. Meditation is a movement, I'm qualifying, is a movement in the stillness in the body, in the calmness and one-pointedness in the mind. See that? Paradox logic. In a way, you are not doing anything. In a way, you are doing something. See that point? I always talk about this. Why? Why? Because there is no I-ness attached to the mind and the intellect in the body. So the mind is not relying on Om Shanti, 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 and still it is moving. What a beautiful state it is. In the state of almost doing nothing. It is naturally moving, aware. Can I say the mind not creating any impression? It goes to Jerry, it knows, done. David goes to done. Lara goes, same way. The mind, oh, here I am, real self. Here it is causal body, here is mental body, here is the physical body, and I am in peace and happiness, love and wisdom. I'll recite the mantra, and after that we'll share our experiences. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Beautiful. Bring your mind on the right hand, be there. So you see that when we go beyond the body, it doesn't mean that we forget recognizing the body. Many people have that wrong notion. And then they ask me, why I should be scared? Then what will happen? How will I work? No, that is not the case. So now bring your mind to the left palm. Raise both your palms, place it on your closed eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Take your own time. If the mind doesn't want you to return, be there. See that. What a beautiful state it is. And bring the hands down. How are you, Lara?
I am good. It was a different meditation today. It wasn't as deep, but I had more insight.
Yes.
I think. And then to answer your question about why I did not name the 5 things earlier on, I think we have to show up first and have this agreement that we might be looking at things wrongly.
You're right.
And to start to clear that up before we can even start to be to understand what's being presented to us.
Yes, when the mind is already impure, it is constantly moving outward, and at that moment, if you teach anybody, oh, the highest level of the seeker are like this, then they say, oh, I cannot do it, my mind is wandering, no, I cannot do it, let me leave it. No, you might have found lot of people sharing that kind of an experience. No, I cannot do it. Forget about it. Meditation is not for me. In fact, meditation is for everyone. Question is, are you ready? So isn't it Patanjali is very clever and a genius? So he is explaining at, the sutra number, and that too in the first chapter he is talking that you are the higher level of a seeker. Even then he is explaining these things in sutra number 19. Until 19 he is just, giving you this is the practice, this is the way you should be, this is the higher meditation. So that your mind becomes mature, it becomes clear, it becomes committed, it becomes sincere. And still, sometimes people don't become sincere. But that is the way the life is.
Just a quick question, because another thing that kind of came to me is that, so often, I know you talk about the past impressions. It's almost like a film that we have that's been presented to us in the world, and then we have to look behind the film. Is that...
You see that why Lara behaves the way she behaves, why David behaves the way. So if we go deeper, we find it is the accumulated impressions already stored inside. Because of that, we have a tendency. When we say impression, it is nothing but the tendency. So there are 2 things. One is my real nature, and one is my acquired nature due to the accumulated impressions in the current life and also from the previous birth. So now compare this roughly. Don't equate equally. We talk about DNA, we talk about inherited tendencies that we borrow from our parents. And we say, she is behaving like his parents, it is in the genes. So the science talks about at the material level, it is in the genes. Genes means what? It is a cell. Cell is a matter. But we are talking at a little deeper level. We are talking at a little deeper level, that tendency by which the gene and the DNA is created. That is what the tendency is. So until we get rid of all those tendencies, we cannot succeed into the highest level of meditation. And if we clear it out, we are already there. We become the highest level of a seeker. How are you, Jerry and David?
That was very, very deep. In fact, I hear coming out, putting our hands over our face. I was just
not able to do it.
That the mantra.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. You're going deeper. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good. Sir, it was, the mind is very content to go within.
Beautiful.
Very content.
Beautiful. See the nature, the way the Patanjali explains. And Patanjali this sutra clarifies from by the Gita, Krishna. Humility, sincerity, harmlessness, forgiveness, integrity. We are not talking of social integrity. Understand that. We are not talking of anything outside. Now it is inside. Integrity to my own self. And service to the master, the highest level of service to the master, constant learning, constant regular practice, contemplation. That brings the result. Beautiful. How are you, Leslie? In the later period, you became Buddha. I see the image of the Buddha outside, just behind you.
Oh, yeah. Hi. So I think in your language, I think my tendencies are taking over. During
like
this
it.
meditation, I became very, very sad. Like lots of sadness.
Yes. Yes. So, Leslie, what happens? Those tendencies which are present, they manifest, they express themselves in meditation, and then they are released. So, maintain awareness of the sadness. Don't try to kill, reject, or react to it. So it is the sadness of the impressions that were accumulated, stored deep inside, they are being released. Don't try to remember. Let her be, remain as it is. If you recall those impressions of the sadness that took place in your life, what will happen if you recall? It means you are giving a fuel to it. Yeah, you see that? Normally, that is opposite process of what we say psychoanalysis or psychotherapist. If you go to the psychotherapist, they always dig deep. What is the cause of your sadness? Is it there now? It is not there. You see, it is not there. It will not be there. Now, I'm not criticizing anyone. That is the process. I'm simply explaining the process because I had been into that. Why I should? Do I ever say that you are in anxiety in any of these sessions? You see, can you see the way the psychotherapy works based on these principles? It's such a beautiful. Once we recognize this, the changes are bound to take place. Changes are bound to take place. 10 years, my honey, you insulted me. I still remember that. Come on, throw it out. Throw it out. What your honey told you that caused an insult in your mind, okay, I can understand. But you are more crazy that you are still remembering after 10 years. You see that? And when you go to a psychotherapist, okay, that is really good, that's very painful, so you should consult the lawyer and find out the way to get... Oh, what a craziness. I'm not criticizing. I respect everything, but we have to see the truth behind it. Now, Leslie, you're smiling. Good. So how are you, Terry? Now it's on. Terry, how are you? You are okay? You don't want to say anything? It's okay.
I'm okay.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So, you see, do you have any questions? So next session, we will see what are the four qualities we should cultivate to succeed in meditation. One thing is clear, that we don't belong to the highest category, but we should continue to inspire our mind to move into that state even in a single session. And at the same time, in the next session, we should try to cultivate these four qualities to succeed in the meditation. Do you have any question? That is all for today, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are you saying anything, Lara? No.